In today's video, I'm out in South Tampa, and I'm going to take you on a tour of one new construction pool home that was just reduced $100,000. And they're going to do a little bonus. At the end of this video, I brought on my insurance guy because several of you have asked about what's going on with insurance in Florida. So we jammed for about 26 minutes answering your questions. So stick around if you're interested in that. But yeah, let's start today's tour. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Bryan, and I'm your Tampa Bay area real estate expert. So if you're thinking about making a move, reach out. I would love to help you. But enough talking, let's start today's tour. All right, this is in the Henderson Beach area of South Tampa. It is a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 3961 square feet. Does have a private pool. Brand new construction, just reduced $100,000. It is currently listed for $2.3 million. No HOA fee, no CDD fee, not a tax bill yet. It is in a flood zone because the water is just right around the corner. So you would have to get flood insurance, if you're doing a mortgage. It's a good idea to get flood insurance if you're paying cash, but that's up to you on there. All right, so let's go inside, take a look at this. Got your nice paver driveway, nice wood accents. Nice stone columns all the way up. All right, let's go inside and take a look. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Got a nice little seating area here. All right, let's go inside. You come in the front door. Nice wood flooring. Over to the left is a little seating area. And then over to the right would be your dining area. All right, let's go upstairs first. So you got the nice wood stairs leading up. When you come up to the top of the stairs, to the right is going to be bedroom number 1. Nice size bedroom. You have a walk-in closet. And then you have a Jack and Jill bath. Nice penny tile on the floor, white cabinets. Quartz countertops, the dual vanities, nice black hardware. And then your tub, shower, toilets all in right here. The penny tile continues throughout the floor and around the tower or shower and tub surround. Nice window. Coming out of the bathroom into a bedroom number 2. Also with a walk-in closet. All right, continuing on. Down the hallway and to the right. And this hall right here, you're gonna have closet space. And then into the master suite here. Nice big tray ceiling. These surround sound speakers are in here as well. And check out this massive closet. Nice size walk-in closet with the custom closet feature. Nice big bedroom, pretty cool ceiling fan. And then the bathroom back here switches over to the tile floor. You come in and right here is going to be your linen closet. Nice dual vanities, the lighter brown cabinets, quartz countertops, nice big soaker tub, several windows, let some light in. Check out the shower. Nice, it looks like marble flooring for the shower, and then the glass tile around your rainfall shower head. Nice bench in there. And then obviously the toilet would just be right there. All right, continuing on. All right, that's right here, media room, all painted black. Surround sound speakers in. Get your mini fridge. The only thing it's missing, in my opinion, is the actual wet bar. And then over here, just another closet, a couple of electrical panels in here. All right, let's continue on down the hall. Behind this door is an air handler, 3.5 ton. And then your laundry room, check out that, so like a bluish gray, pool's more blue, like brick in the herringbone pattern. It's pretty cool flooring. Let me know what you think about that. Nice big counter with your laundry sink there. And then right here would be another closet. One more bathroom right here. I like the louvered doors on the bathroom vanity. That's pretty cool. Granite, or not granite, quartz countertops. Nice tile around the shower and tub combo all the way to the ceiling. That's a nice touch. And this actually does come out to this bedroom right here, which you'll see in a second. But one more bedroom upstairs. So there's the access to the bathroom from the bedroom. The nice size walk-in closet. All right, let's go downstairs and check out the main floor. All right, when you come down the steps, go to the left, you're gonna have some understair storage right here. And then this door is gonna lead down into your 2-car garage. You do have epoxy on the stairs and on the garage floor. So a nice size 2-car garage, but check out the ceiling height right here. So if you wanted a car lift or something like that, then obviously you can relocate the opener to a side mount and you would have plenty of ceiling height. This comes out to the side yard in the fence area, so you can climb up there. That's where your meter is. And then goes to the backyard, which we will check out shortly. Let's finish checking out this first floor. Oh, and there's another air handler right up there. All right. Coming on in, nice living room / family room with the coffered ceiling. It's pretty nice. Surround sound speakers throughout. Check out this kitchen. Got your brown cabinets in the island, nice quartz countertops, white cabinets for the main lowers and uppers, stainless steel appliances. It is gas out here, which is great if you love to cook with gas, like I do. Your pot filler, nice wood range hood, nice undermount sink. I like how it's white. A little different than the stainless steel that we always see. And then you got your dishwasher and microwave in the island. Little breakfast nook area here. We'll go outside in a minute, but you got your French doors there, and then one more door right here. But then over in this wing, you're gonna have one bathroom and a bedroom. So the white cabinets, quartz countertops, nice walk-in shower with a tile all the way to the ceiling. And then a bedroom number 5. So you have a main floor bedroom, which, I mean, is big enough if you wanted to, have this as your master if you didn't like the stairs, but you have your walk-in closet. But obviously the main master suite's upstairs. All right, let's go outside and take a look at this. So you come out, nice stone patio. Come over here, show you how long this is. Nice cover lanai. You have the wood on the ceiling. Your surround sound speakers continue outside. Can lights, nice big ceiling fans. And check out this outdoor kitchen. Nice outdoor kitchen there. And then check this out. Nice pool, spa. Let's go down here and get a little closer look. Because, I mean, what's living in Florida without a pool? All right, so nice sun shelf with your bubbler there. Steps down into the pool. Got your little waterfall there. Around the corner over here is going to be all your pool equipment. A little bit grass area there. Nice spa. Nice mature trees here. And then over here is going to be that area that goes out to where I was at earlier. So that's going to do it for this one. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. All right, guys. So today I brought on a special guest at the request of a lot of viewers. They wanted me to discuss what's going on in the Florida insurance market because everybody's hearing all different things. Nobody knows what the heck is going on, especially if you live out of state like majority of you do. So I figured I'd bring on my insurance guy, Paolo, to break down some of these most asked questions. Yeah. So let's just get started. Actually, you know what? Before I get started, I'm being rude. Sorry. Everybody knows me. They don't know you. Go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
Okay, awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Paolo Matita. I'm the agency director here at Dimmitt Insurance, located out of Clearwater. But we do service and provide coverage for anywhere in the entire state of Florida. I have a background as a real estate agent. I was an agent for about 4.5 years and then transitioned into insurance back in 2017 after Irma. So I got a great insurance education real fast. And, having that real estate background and now doing the insurance since 2017, I know a lot of what you're going through. I know the process from A to Z, from, wanting to buy a house, getting under contract, getting insurance quotes, and getting to that closing table. So I'm, pretty well versed all around. And I'm here to try and provide the best answers I can for these repetitive questions that a lot of people have, and hopefully give you all a little bit better of an idea of what to expect, with Florida's current insurance market. So fire away, Josh. I'm ready, man.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And just so for all you watching, I'm going to put his contact information in the description below. So whether you work with me or not, and you just want an insurance quote, reach out to Paolo. He's pretty much like me, where he's professional, but he doesn't sugarcoat things. So he's going to tell you how it is, not what you want to hear. And I think most of you would appreciate that from me. So that's who I like to associate myself with as well. But let's dive into these questions. So I put up a poll, and a lot of you asked questions. So the first one is, why has home insurance prices increased dramatically in Florida?
Great question. And there's a lot of different parts to it. So I'll try and summarize it the best I can. So I mentioned Irma in 2017. I think, that was kind of the first big domino that fell, and just all the claims that rolled in, from that. And then we had Michael. I mean, there was 5 or 6 storms in the last 5-6 years that have made landfall, major hurricanes. So just the number of claims. Then, of course, we've all heard about the roofers and the contractors and the fraud that's going on. I mean, of the billions and billions of dollars that insurance carriers have paid out over the last 5, 6, 7 years, a majority of that ends up going to attorneys. That doesn't even go to the consumers. So, it was just the carriers were hemorrhaging. I mean, at the end of the day, they are a business, right? And businesses are in place to generate a profit. So it was just kind of the mixture, the perfect storm, where too many people were using their homeowners policy as a maintenance policy, and that's kind of the biggest thing that I can drive home is the insurance for your homeowners insurance policy is not a maintenance policy. It's not a home warranty policy. You know, the great rule of thumb I think everyone's starting to figure out is that 10-year mark. If your roof's 10 plus years old, your AC's 10 plus years old, your water heater's 10 plus years old, start planning on getting those things replaced, because the life expectancy with most of those things is 15 to 20. Underwriting guidelines with most carriers is 15 years. So what I had heard in the past where, oh, I know my roof's old, but I'll just wait for the next storm and I'll get a new roof. Well, you compound that by hundreds of thousands of people, it's all caught up to us. And I know that a lot of people are like, well, I didn't do the claim. And I get it for those that, do use their insurance the correct way. And we're all paying the piper. Unfortunately, it's just kind of the law of large numbers, and the entire state of Florida is taking that hit. The good news is that, there is some relief on the way, but I do think it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets a little bit better. The end of 22 or earlier this year, there's some good laws that were passed. They're getting rid of assignment of benefits. So when that contractor comes and knock on your door and say, hey, we just replaced your neighbor's roof and, we put it through their insurance. All you got to do is sign here. Stop doing that. But they've also got away from even allowing that to happen. So, the unknowing consumer doesn't get bamboozled, get a new roof or new free roof, but then turn out to be this whole big thing that ended up biting us all in the foot, in the end. So that's kind of the biggest thing, is just the amount of claims, the amount of storms, the amount of fraud, and then the litigation that, follows up with it. It just finally hit rock bottom, if you will, so that's the main reason. But with these changes and laws that passed, and we should start to see some relief. But like I said, it's going to probably get a little bit worse before it gets a little bit better.
Gotcha. Okay. And then also to add in the cost of everything to rebuild, those are
Yes,
through the
yes,
roof
yeah,
too.
of course.
That takes into account, but life in general is
Yeah,
expensive.
building materials, labor, all of that, and even the insurance for your general contractors and your home builders, their insurance premiums have gone up. So it's just kind of going, just like a gallon of milk, man. I mean, how much is a gallon of milk these days? It's
Right.
crazy.
Exactly. All right. Next question is that I'm getting from a lot of people is I'm hearing that a lot of insurance companies are leaving Florida. Why is that?
So either they are leaving because they're just no longer seeing that profit, that I mentioned earlier. They're everything with insurance is risk versus reward, right? Whether it's the carriers deciding to stay in Florida or the price on your policy, or whether they want to even offer you a policy, is what's the risk versus the reward. So a lot of these carriers, especially that are like Farmers, I know is a big one. They've decided to kind of remove themselves from Florida. They're all over the rest of the country. So they're like, you know what? Florida's just our biggest risk state, and I can't speak to Farmers. I don't work for Farmers, but just, what I do know is that they no longer want to play ball here. Basically, they've seen what has happened in the last 5, 6 years. And a number of carriers have gone insolvent where they just, had too many claims and they basically went upside down. So that's another big reason why we see a lot less carriers in Florida than we did maybe 5, 6 years ago. Some of them just completely went out of business. Other ones got absorbed by other carriers, or they're just making that preemptive decision to just pull themselves out. And I think the reason is just because of just, we're a high risk state. I mean, we get hit with hurricanes. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I think after seeing how it all went down, especially with the litigation, the lawsuits, I think were a big thing too. And carriers are like, all right, we don't even want to put our foot in that water. I mean, that's what nobody probably wants to say, but
Right.
it's,
Well,
I mean, that's the reality of the situation.
right.
So,
No, I have a friend that owns an insurance company in Colorado, and he reached out to me, months ago, like wanting to partner, kind of thing. But then I was like, we started talking, and he's like, you know what, things have changed. By the time I actually got around to talking to him, he's like, things have changed. We're pulling out of Florida. But Florida's not the only state. They're pulling out of Louisiana. They're having issues in California right now. I think he even said Colorado, where they're actually based. Everything's just going up across the country. So it's not just a Florida problem.
for sure.
It just
Well,
gets
yeah, and all the states that are that touch the Gulf. Yeah, Louisiana, Texas is another big one. And even the Carolinas, the East Coast. It's not just Florida. Just Florida obviously is
right.
probably the biggest target because over the last few years, I mean, people have seen 50, 60% increase in just 1 year, which I totally agree is just astronomical. But then when you dig deeper, it's like, well, your roof's 18 years old and your water heater's 13 years old. It's kind of, but it, it's just they're just enough is enough, I guess. Basically,
Right.
it's time for people, I think, to just take more pride, and stop in their own homes and stop using their insurance policy as that maintenance policy. That's probably my biggest message.
All right, cool. Well, the next one that I hear a lot of is people are saying, I'm hearing that flood insurance will be required on all homes going forward. And let's be honest, that can't be right, can
No,
it?
yeah, I mean, not that I've heard of from a blanket statement. I do know that Citizens Insurance rolled out a requirement that if you choose to have your home policy with Citizens in the state of Florida, just speaking of Florida, and your property's in a flood zone other than X, um, Citizens requires you to have the flood insurance, whether you have a mortgage on the property or not.
Right.
Um,
And let me
and
jump in real quick. So for
yeah.
you that don't know, X is a non-flood zone, the only one that's not considered a flood zone, and require flood insurance if you had a mortgage. Also,
Mhm.
Citizens is the insurance of the last resort for Florida. So
Right.
there's a lot of, well, I don't want to say a lot, but there's other private options out there.
There is for sure. And then I want to just piggyback. So everywhere in Florida is a flood zone. The X zone is still a flood zone. It's just the lowest risk. So nowhere in Florida is not a flood zone.
Gotcha.
It's just
Okay.
whether you're very low risk or not. So for whatever reasons, if there is a mortgage on it, they don't require flood insurance to be carried if it's in the low risk of X. But if it's any other zone, then yes.
And
So
that's why
yeah,
I'm not the insurance guy. And that's why I
yeah,
jumped
no,
in there.
absolutely,
All I know is
absolutely.
X doesn't require it.
X is not required. Still highly, highly recommended though, because 20+% of flood claims were in X zone areas the last couple of years. So just because you're in the X doesn't mean you're scot
Well,
free.
also
It
what
still
happened in
happens.
Orlando last year when the
Right.
hurricane came through Fort Myers, and there was no. I mean, it's kind of in the middle of
And
the state, and it
right.
flooded like crazy.
It
So,
can happen. I mean, because
yep.
Florida's low. I mean, let's not forget Florida's got a low elevation kind of across the board. But yeah, no, as of now, there's no blanket requirement. It's just certain stipulations. If you're going to go a certain route, homeowner carrier wise, i.e., Citizens, you may be required to carry the flood. But if the property's in the X zone, nobody's going to be requiring you to carry it, regardless of where you're going or what you're doing.
Okay,
But
cool.
again, still recommended. And reach out to me if you want a quote. We can talk about it.
All right. So the next question is, what does Florida home insurance cover? And I guess at the same time, what does it not cover as far as like just regular home insurance?
Yeah, no, and I love that question because that's what I usually try to, you know, tell my clients is like, hey, I want to make sure you understand not only what you have but what you don't have, right? So, standard homeowners policy in Florida it's called an HO3 form. Is going to cover your wind, hail, hurricane. And that's got one deductible. Typically, it's 2% of whatever the dwelling is.
There's the
Um,
emergency alert.
and the other deductible is stands for all other perils. So it's basically anything that were to cause damage to your property other than a hurricane named storm, wind, hail. So um, the one thing that it does not cover that a lot of people learn, unfortunately, the hard way is the flood, like we were just talking about. So FEMA defines flooding as rising water in an area of 2 acres or more. So rising water, storm surge from a hurricane comes up and rises the water. That's not covered under a standard homeowner's policy. Now, the kitchen sink springs a leak or water heater bursts in the garage, that is covered under your homeowner's policy if you've got water coverage. If it's an old house, sometimes they exclude water coverage, but that's probably the biggest thing. That's excluded is the flood coverage, because that's something entirely different. But other than that, I mean, hurricanes coming through rips your roof off, and obviously now you got a bunch of rainwater. That wasn't rising water, that was the hurricane. So that's gonna be your homeowner's policy. But and then unless it has other specific exclusions that you see written out, like excludes X, Y, and Z, it's safe to assume everything else is covered.
Okay.
Unless you see a specific exclusion. So one other thing I want to mention is that not every carrier includes coverage for the pool cages. Florida, obviously, we've got a lot of houses with pools and a lot of pool cages. So I recommend everyone check your policy. Some carriers include it as part of the dwelling coverage. Most carriers, you have to endorse a certain dollar amount for that pool cage. And when a storm comes through, the first thing that usually sustains damage is that pool cage.
Right.
So it doesn't always come included. You got to add it as an endorsement. So that's one thing I would recommend you guys check your policies on and make sure you've got coverage for that, because it's not always a default thing.
Okay. And one other question I get is, well, there's several other ones, but how does the deductible work in Florida as far as homeowners insurance goes?
Yeah, great question. So there's no standard deductibles. There's typical options. So what most people select, as I mentioned, is 2% for hurricane. And what triggers that is a name. Once they give it a name, this named storm. So tropical storm Josh or hurricane Josh causes damage. That's going to be your hurricane deductible. And it's typically the percentage of whatever your dwelling amount is. So if you've got a $500,000 home, it's 2% of that 500,000. And basically what that means is you got to sustain that much damage or more before the insurance policy is going to kick in. So that's one thing I tell people too. It's like, oh, I got damage. Well, how much is the damage? Oh, it's only like $2,000. All right, well, your deductible is 10,000. Don't even bother calling your insurance because you're below that threshold, and they're not going to pay out anyway. The other deductible, the all other perils, operates the same way. Same thing with car insurance too. If your deductible is X dollar amount, that is your responsibility. Anything in excess over that dollar amount is when the insurance policy is going to kick in. So I think a good rule of thumb is, if your deductible's whatever, $5,000 and you've got $7,000 worth of damage, if it's due to a hurricane, make that claim, because we don't get penalized for catastrophic claims. But, one big thing that hurts people in Florida with home insurance is like water. Like I mentioned, the kitchen sink or the toilet overflows or something like that. If it's close to your deductible, strongly consider just maybe taking care of it yourself. Obviously, if it's extensive damage, file your claim. That's what the insurance is for. But just know, unfortunately, anytime we use our insurance, it could come back on your renewal. And a lot of carriers do not like prior water claims, even if you no longer own that house.
Right.
If you had a water claim within the last 5 years, even if it was in a different state, sometimes they're like, we don't like that. So that's one thing to consider with your deductibles is like, what's that dollar amount? What's my damage? Is it actually worth going through and putting in a claim, or should I just go ahead and eat that cost, myself? But that's how the deductibles work.
All right, makes sense. All right, so next question is, are there any discounts or ways to lower your home insurance premium?
Yes, updating things, getting a new roof on there. Another big thing in Florida is the opening protection. or you've heard, I know you have, Josh, maybe not the others that watch, but the wind mitigation report. One of the section on there is the opening protection. So if all the windows and doors and garage doors are hurricane impact rated, that'll get you a discount. Having a newer roof will get you a discount. And just claim history. Believe it or not, there's an insurance score that every carrier uses for both home and auto. It's similar to a credit score, but it's not the exact same. But part of the insurance score is one's credit score. Now, obviously, we don't run credit because we don't use socials, but plugging in your name, your date of birth, and your property address, the carriers do take a sneak peek. And someone who's got a lower credit rating will get a little bit of a higher insurance rate versus someone and again, it all boils down to, like I mentioned earlier, risk. Just statistically speaking, and it's not a personal attack on anybody, it's just statistically speaking, if you're irresponsible and have bad credit, you're a higher risk for something bad to happen versus, and I don't 100% agree with it, but that's just how they do it. So that's one thing a lot of people don't realize. Same thing with the auto insurance. Your credit score could severely impact your pricing with home and auto. So that's one big thing. And then just keeping things updated, keeping your home in good condition. Like I said, nowadays, a lot of carriers are looking at that 10-year mark. So your major systems, plumbing, electrical, heating and air, and roof, and water heater. If you're 10 plus years old on those, start considering or planning on getting those replaced, not just serviced, but just full blown replaced. Because when you start shopping around, you're going to be more attractive to carriers giving you a better rate than having those older items.
Got it. All right. So then the next one is, what's the process for filing a claim?
Great question. So, if you do have something that happens, the claims are all handled directly with the carriers. So, obviously, a lot of you have agents or people have agents. We're here to help, but we don't actually, we're not the carrier. We're just kind of the middleman between the carrier and the consumer. So you would, call the carrier, let them know, hey, XYZ happened. I need to file a claim. They're going to ask more questions and kind of start the ticket, if you will. Then you will get a phone call and a visit from the adjuster. The adjuster comes out, inspects what's going on. Obviously, with all the fraud that has happened over the years, they need to investigate a little bit. So they're going to do their own research and make sure what you're claiming happened actually did happen. And from there, they'll assess and say, okay, we assessed everything. Yes, it's all good. Here's what the payout is. And then from there, if you don't agree with it, you can dispute it. A lot of carriers now, rather than people jumping straight to an attorney to sue, they have mediation that you can go through to try and resolve it. And that's kind of the gist of it, And then where the agent comes in, a lot of people are like, well, why do I have an agent? If you're not getting timely responses or just not getting this level of service you think you should be getting from your adjuster at the time of a claim, that's where you call your agent, and the agent's relationship with those carriers can really help facilitate those items sometimes. Just pushing it up the chain of command. Now, keep in mind, if the entire state got hit with a Category 5 hurricane, they're just inundated with claims. So have patience. It's going to take time. No one's going to call you back in 3 days. It's just not going to happen, So I think managing your expectations at the time of a catastrophic claim where a lot of people were impacted, just practice patience, because I do think they try to prioritize it by severity. You've got the guy whose house was completely leveled versus the guy, his garage door got damaged. And usually the one with just the garage door damage is throwing a bigger stink than the guy who lost his entire house. So right. I think in the time of crisis, unfortunately, some people forget that, it could always be worse type of a thing. But yeah, that's kind of the general process though of a claim. Call the carrier, file it, get the adjuster out, and then you basically the dialogue kind of goes from there. So
okay. And one last question, and I'll let you go. And this is kind of selfish more for me, but with all my clients my active clients I work with, and when I'm sending them out listings on the MLS, it'll show like a breakdown. Hey, this is a mortgage payment, this is an insurance payment, taxes, all estimates and stuff like that. Is there a website out there that maybe somebody could just go and get a ballpark? I already know the answer to this, but is there a website out there that somebody can get a ballpark quote to compare it to what I'm sending out? Well, what the MLS is sending out, to see if it's even accurate, because I don't know.
Yeah, those
Accurate,
what you see on like Zillow or the MLS. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think they just take historical or statistical data and come up with some sort of an average, which is scary because you know better than me. In certain parts of town, you can have two houses right next to each other. One's 1950 and one's a brand new build.
Right.
Like they're going to be rated very, very different. So to directly answer the question, is there a magic website? No. Is there a website you can go to? Yes, DimmittInsurance.com. You can submit a quote request or give us a call. I've got 5 agents on my team, or any agency. I mean, if you've got one that you like, they're here in the state of Florida, make sure they're a Florida agent, though. I will say that. Like, they're located in Florida. They know the Florida market. I've heard some agents in other states, they have their Florida license, but they're not really plugged in to what's going on. So be weary of that. But, without all the details like roof age and inspection reports, it's hard to give you a very accurate. But if you're just looking for ballpark, if you provide me with your name, your birth date, and the property address, we can usually get you a ballpark figure, within a couple of hours, if not within a day, depending on the time of day you reach out. But and then from there, you can go. But yeah, and then same thing with flood insurance. There's no like magic website. We would just have to kind of plug it in, because the same thing, you can have homes right next to each other, but just because of the elevation, one's a foot higher, and that could be a several $100 difference in the in the rate. Because just because your neighbor across the street's paying one price doesn't mean you're going to be paying that same price. That's for sure.
Right. And for the people that haven't worked with me, I mean, if you've worked with me, I work with Andrew. Andrew's one of Paolo's insurance guys at his company. And before we write an offer on any property, I send over, hey, this is the property address, this is the age of the roof, any of the information I have ahead of time, along with what Paolo said, their name, date of birth, current address, to get a ballpark quote, because things can vary, and that can make it, somebody that wants to buy a house no longer want to buy that particular house. So just know that if you work with me, we do that before we write an offer, no matter what. If you're just, kicking the tires and you just want to see, if I have you set up on a home search, or any other agent has on a home search, there should be a breakdown there to give you at least ballpark. But from what I've seen, it's typically lower than what it really is. So yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming on, answering these questions.
Absolutely.
And like I said, guys, I will put Paolo's information in the description below. So if you want to reach out to him directly to get a quote, obviously if you want to work with me, come through me, we can do that as well. But yeah. So until next video.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.